It's a good one, they're in good voice. And of course these days behind a man called Billy 12 Trees. His first chance to take on his old side. Always a funny feeling that. No doubt Leicester will be ready to let him know about it too. His old mate Manu Tuilagi waits, but he's got the crowd behind him today at Kingsholm. 12 Trees all right.
Up front, Tom Savage steps into skipper Jim Hamilton's boots, and they're big boots to fill. Hamilton has been superb all season, but Savage has raw ability. He's made a massive impact here, and a big game is expected.
JP Doyle is our referee. David Brasov is the television match official. It's almost as if this place was built to stage traditional heavyweight clashes of the English game, and it's got one today, all right.
Okay, kick when you're ready. Okay.
A lovely crispness in the air. It is windy, that might have an effect, but the ball will be dry, and the conditions underfoot superb, and that is a storming start from Morgan and Gloucester. And the crowd respond to it. Cowan gets it out. Here's Simpson Daniel. It's exactly what Nigel Davis would have wanted. Win the kickoff and throw it right at the Tigers. Good charge from Angera, supported by Calamafoni. Here's Cowan, out to Burns. Tyndall, he's got Sharples outside, looks for the handoff.
10, taking the space.
Cowan, penalty coming Gloucester's way. Burns gives it to Sharples. They don't need the penalty. It's another quick try here. But it's not Bath this time. It's Charlie Sharples. And there are a few things that rank higher on the list for Gloucester fans than to take on and beat the Tigers. Well, they have taken on Leicester right from the off there.
Well, Freddie Burns left out of the England squad, but what a riposte. The try comes from the fact that Burns' kickoff is brilliant. It's a forgotten skill at times in England. That was almost Dan Carter-esque. It gave Ben Morgan a chance to get up there. 12 Trees with a tap, Morgan on the carry. Gloucester kept the attack going, and this is the deftest of kicks. The weight perfect. When you're just into the game, the adrenaline is flooding through you, but there's great composure from Burns. It's a soft touch, and it's a fine finish from Charlie Sharples. But that is the Burns show to start.
Sharples, 2 tries against Bordeaux Bergler. He's got one now against Leicester, and Burns bends it round. Bend it like Burns. And what a lovely chip, as you say, Stuart. Great composure there. It was a free play, the penalty was coming, so maybe took a little bit of the pressure off, but Burns was right in the zone.
But he knew that was a chance, and it's so early in the game. There's great composure. It's almost like he's taken a deep breath there. 3 perfect kicks, a wonderful kick-off, an immaculate chip through, and then just to seal the deal, a beautifully struck conversion. Toby Flood, the likely fly half for England, knows he's in a little bit of a duel at 10 today.
And Leicester in general know they're in a duel now. Morgan takes another. Great chase from 12 Trees, the former Leicester man, on that kick-off, wasn't it? And he puts boot to ball there, but it falls for Nicky Gonover, and that's a strong reply from him. Flood out to Tomlin. This is Jordan Crane. He's been standing in as captain in the absence of another Jordan, spelt differently, Murphy. Here's Anthony Allen. Oh, well, it was never going to Manu Tuilagi, but again, that one didn't matter because it was already advantage Leicester, and they'll have a chance to get right back in the game here.
2 meters near.
Toby Flood given a late touch there. It's a poor pass from Anthony Allen. It should be 7-3, but as you said, kickoff, there's quite a breeze blowing here.
Saw in that move Anthony Allen, of course former Gloucester man, 2 12s against ex-clubs. Allen in the England squad, and his 2 caps. He's a very young man, 6 years ago now. Here's a man who stands on 50 England caps, on that 50th cap in South Africa in the summer. All those points for Leicester over the years, 24 against the Ospreys last week. He could not have struck the ball better than he did a week ago. With these blustery conditions, no matter, Toby Flood is striking the ball beautifully, and that is 3 points for Leicester to get them right back into the game.
Well, Flood has booted himself into pole position as far as England selection goes, but today, blustery conditions, it's a question of can he control the game. Last week he did it immaculately. Sometimes he just fades away. It's about 80 minutes from Flood. The same for Freddie Burns, and that's a fascinating subplot in a rare old atmosphere here.
Claimed by Lewis Deacon. That career threatening, it seemed initially, and there were the reports, hamstring injury, then a shoulder problem. What a 12 months he's had, but he's back. It's great to see him back. 32, still a lot to offer club and possibly country as well. And that's a good drive from the Leicester pack, who did get the better of the Ospreys as that match went on, and there's a major reason why. Dan Cole.
First kick-off was caught by Morgan after 12 trees, tapped it, end result a try. Deacon controls that one. Leicester set it really well. Net result, Leicester with an attacking line out, 30 metres from touch. So important, the restarts. And for Leicester, when things aren't working, they go to their default position, scrum, line, and their driving game. It serves them so well.
There were those around the Leicester club who felt Deacon coming on last week. No coincidence in the way that Leicester started to close the game out. Ongera. 12 threes, too much. But again, JP Doyle was letting it go to see what developed.
A little bit loose from England's #2 hooker, Tom Young's. Way overthrown there. We talked about the adrenaline of Burns being under control in the first minute. Well, 6 minutes into the game there, Tom Youngs hasn't really just got the feel of this match, and Ongera just uses Toby Flood as a speed bump, and that's a lovely kick from Burns, who has been the epicentre of the first 7 minutes of this game.
Tight quad, the reason for missing both the European games for Freddie Burns. Nothing too serious. Result coming in from Franklin's, and Saracens have won 16-6. Alex Goode got a very important try there.
Tremendous result for the Saracens.
Go top of the table, Saracens, as a result of that. For now, Leicester might have something to say about that. And Quins tomorrow.
Okay, fine. Just take them back. We're going to foul play penalty. It's going to be against Leicester, so give me a second. Yep. We stopped that for offside obstruction, okay? That was offside obstruction there.
But there's more to check for JP Doyle.
Assistant referee's call. Let's hear it.
Do you have a number on that?
I believe it was a blue cap player, number 8.
Any danger? Just penalty?
Yeah.
8, okay.
John Crane.
Yeah, 8. Sorry. 8. Just when he's in the air, we can't take out the lifters, okay? Yeah, all right.
We're getting straight down.
Yeah.
Both of these two clubs only had one yellow-carded player this season in the Premiership. And penalty suffices there as well.
Dangerous play. You know, man takes out the lifter because it leaves the guy who's aerial very vulnerable. But the assistant referee decided that was enough. Burns will be hoping just to turn it into 3 more points here. A little bit loose there from Leicester. 12 trees. I thought he got over the game line very easily as well before he ran into Ongera, which is a slight worry for the Tigers.
Burns 2 points from the conversion, taking him up to 89 for the season. He started the weekend as joint top scorer in the Premiership alongside Nick Evans. And Sandy Good got a few last night. But he's just gone behind Burns again, is Good. Because, like Flood,
Just get the guys away from the ball as well. Break that.
he's hitting that ball off the kicking tee just about as well as it can be kicked.
Better than he's ever kicked it as well. Last season, he had that capacity. Occasionally, he just lost the rhythm. He's got really good range of rhythm at the moment.
Cowan, 51 times capped by the New Zealand All Blacks, made his debut in round 6. And there's a man who came from New Zealand too, Thomas Waldron, now has a couple of caps for England. Steve Maffey in the Tonga squad for the Autumn Internationals. Allen kicks. Sharple's the try scorer. He's got Cook outside, goes high, and now tries to jump high. In fact, Hamilton just couldn't get there to use his height. Cowan kicks, and he won't like that. He didn't have a right winger there for a start. Cook had gone across.
Got 2 terrible kicks there. Anthony Allen, what was he doing? Shallow kick. Charlie Sharples picked it off with ease, won the ball. But Jimmy Cowan, he had a quarter of the field in which to put Leicester under pressure. Sharples does ever so well. He wins the kick back, gets there in front of Hamilton. And Cowan, you'd expect a player with all that experience to do a lot better than that. That's always 10 metres too far infield there. Poor kick.
Not sure what he was going to achieve with that kick anyway. As I said, Cook had got across. We just saw him sneak into that replay picture at the bottom, but there were 4 Tigers covering.
Yeah, it was just
Touch!
headstrong, I think would be the word. But also a reminder that he's new to the Gloucester systems. Maybe there's a communication issue at the moment. But it was a poor kick from Cowan.
Sam Harrison to Toby Flood. What about this kick? Tuilagi again, he doesn't really leave the ground. Hamilton was trying to get there. And once more failed to do so. Ben Morgan. And that ball was being held.
Leave him. Hold on, just holding him.
The initial drive from Morgan was good, it was aggressive, but they're not releasing once he'd been downed.
Toby Flood using that high diagonal a lot this season. I must say that one made about 15 metres. Gloucester had a lot of players underneath it, and initially they lost the contact there, almost like he was forcing that play. A little bit more luck than judgment there. Now Tom Young's poor first throw, just needs to get his rhythm. They've got Deacon at the front, and Maffey's really good there.
It goes down from Maffey and into midfield. And that means into Mana Tuilagi. There's Crane. Good work by Will James. And the try scorer in Europe last week, James. The ball's there for Harrison. Tuilagi again, gives it to centre-back Allen. Lewis Deacon. Harrison wants it quickly, gets it reasonably quickly. Here's Waldron. And we're operating in this number 7 role at the moment because of injury to Julian Selvey. Understand Richard Thorpe also got himself injured in training, got a knock. He wasn't being chosen as the starter anyway, former London Irishman. Flood to Allen. Here comes Hamilton. There goes Tuilagi. Back on to Hamilton. This is Scott Hamilton trying to stretch and put the ball on the line.
Hold on.
And if he's done that, it's a really good finish.
David, JP.
Put a lot of width on that, Leicester.
Question is, try, yes
has
or
the
no?
call. It's a long stretch from Scott Hamilton. He's been playing full-back, but of course he's got a lot of experience as a winger in New Zealand. Simpson Daniel goes for the tackle. Great effort from Ben Morgan as well. Let's say at the very least we need to see this one again. Simpson-Daniel initially, Morgan gets in there.
Well, he's not in touch, we can see that. Not any part of Hamilton, and he's just got to clip the line. Any little bit of paint on that ball will do.
I think he's got it down. It is a little bit of paint, but I think he's got enough there. Any is enough, and I think he's got just a lick. It's there, I'm certain he's not in touch, you're right. He doesn't lose that ball.
He's allowed to place it straight away, and he certainly does that. But of course, he just can't then roll it over onto the line. He has to hit the line straight away, or any part of that line.
JP,
yes.
you may award the try.
Which he did. It was a fine finish from the man with more than 100 starts now for the Leicester club. Part of the furniture. And that kind of finishing, one of the reasons why.
He's a very calm player, and when Murphy's been out, he's done a fine job at full-back, but just a reminder there that being a winger is not just about being big or quick or pacey, it's just awareness of everything, and he stayed as calm there with that finish as Freddie Burns did with the chip. That's a lovely piece of play.
Flood's conversion, it's going to be very close. So close that it hits the post. It was going to take something like that to cause a mistake. I say that in inverted commas there from Toby Flood. It was a very difficult conversion out wide. Made a good fist of it.
Yeah, Leicester went right to left, left to right. Simpson-Daniel just got sucked in a bit, I felt there, and that gave that extra metre to Hamilton. If James Simpson-Daniel makes that tackle a metre or two earlier, then there's no try.
Front line, Dean Ryan.
Gloucester get found out, all their backs are on one side of the pitch, so when you've got the defensive line, it's Will James on an edge. You see Simpson-Daniels, he's waiting for his second row, and that just makes him sit in a little bit. That yardage gives Tuolangi the edge, he gets round the outside.
Just think he's got to trust Callum Afoni there. He's coming across. Dean's absolutely right. They got sucked very tight there.
And Hamilton saw it straight away, didn't he? That body swerve on James to take full advantage of the emerging space. And then finish the move so expertly. Burns has overhit that one now.
First black mark in Freddie Burns' textbook so far. Tuolangi strong, good tackle initially. It is a good finish. It's a very good finish.
A lot of good things have already happened in this game. Until Tom Youngs misses his man. I was about to say also, some of the kicking from hand has left a little bit to be desired. 2 or 3 have been poor ones, but Burns has got away with that one because Tom Youngs was way off the mark.
A really poor throw from Tom Youngs there. Arrowed that one, threw that with real velocity, but from the moment that left his hand, Parling was taking that going back towards his own half. 2 poor throws.
Bit of pressure on Youngs, of course, with the squad announcement. It's pretty obvious what role he's going to play. Burns tries again. Again, isn't particularly good. It's an open invitation to Nicky Gonover. As we've seen in this, his first Premiership season, the former Tarbes man in France, the Fijian. He needs no second invitation to attack, and he attacks very well. Good support from Dan Cole there. His England colleague Tuolangi, but he's bundled out, and it's a quick one from Simpson-Daniel. Cowan is charged down. Good response by Crane on the floor, but then on the floor the penalty is conceded.
Well, we had about 13 very good minutes of some interesting controlled rugby. We've had 2 minutes of absolute mayhem. The decision-making has been awful. The kick-in has been terrible. Now Burns has a chance just to calm things down. Good pressure coming through there from Gloucester initially. And here you see Cowan under pressure from Hamilton. Hamilton knocks that one on. Jordan Crane catches it. And then the penalty. Messy, to say the least.
And it could be costly if this man is in the mood again. I'm sure he is. It's whether his boot can deliver, and it's not got it. Not got the length or indeed the direction in the end, as he just faded away.
He's lost a little bit of shape at the moment. Well balanced, 10 points to 8, not much in it. Team that can just take control of the shape of this game might just have a bit of an advantage going towards the second quarter.
It's taken by Callum Athoni. Tom Savage, 18 stones of him. No Hamilton in the second row today. Simpson Daniel. Talked about Anthony Allen's cap 6 years ago. To go back 10 years now for James Simpson Daniel's debut game for England. One against New Zealand. Not a bad way to start.
He's okay, that was okay.
A rare way to start.
That's a great carry there from 12 trees. Straight through the breakdown. Brilliant.
Well, he's a powerful player, who's 12 trees.
Came off my hand.
And then the referee touched it as Cowan found
Ball came off my hand.
that it got cluttered all of a sudden. But you're right, 12 trees there, became an extra back rower.
The biggest difference between Gloucester this season and last season is the way they have used the breakdown to drive through it, to pick and go. This time it's 12 trees, but Ben Morgan has been doing it really effectively. Callum Athoni has as well. Last season, Gloucester weren't a threat there, and it enabled teams to spread their defence, which means there was less room for Sharples and Simpson Daniel, because they didn't have to get tight. When you pick and drive as much as Gloucester do, and you can see there they're doing it a lot more than Leicester, then it sucks defenders in, and as the game goes on, it creates space for people like Simpson Daniel and people like Sharples.
We've got time for Dean here with this break in play.
Yeah, a couple of poor choices from Freddie Burns in terms of kicking. At first I thought Harrison had put him under great pressure and he'd had to jump it back inside. But you watch here, Harrison's nowhere near him. He should have a chance, and you see him, he bolts round and thinks he can dink it over the top of Goneva. Really easy to read. He just had 5 or 10 minutes of losing a little bit of shape.
Although there's still plenty to enthuse about, plenty to keep your eyes on here. Already had a try apiece. Remember back in 2011, the 41-all draw between these two at Welford Road, one of the most memorable Premiership games in the history of the competition. 5 tries each on that day. Well, 1 each so far. First of all, it was Sharples, then another winger, Leicester's Hamilton. Leicester making a change. Ed Slater's coming on. Jordan Crane is going off.
Crouch! We're head on head.
Slater will move into the second row, of course, with Steve Maffey. We'll go into straight into the second row, Slater.
No, he's going to cover back row, I think, today, with Graham Kitchener, the other alternative second row on the bench.
So Waldron goes to 8. Blimey, Maffey, Slater. If Gloucester get a front foot there, even without Hazel, they've got an edge on the floor.
Cowan to Simpson Daniel, first receiver, and that's why Maffey got off quickly, and he's going to need to do that an awful lot. Burns. And then Callum Athoni has carried so well since he arrived at the club from Nottingham, the Tongan international. Not sure the nature of Crane's injury yet. Here's Burns. There is a little bit of space for Freddie Burns! sees the space and takes it.
Well, that's two fabulous short-range chips. One for his mate Charlie Sharples, another for himself. Burns loves that. Had just lost control of the tiller for a couple of minutes, but it just shows what a dangerous offensive attacking player is. That is lovely play there. Cowans puts it right on the money there for Burns, and just look at the deftness of control there. Slater, no chance there. That's a beautiful execution.
As you're talking there, Stuart, did you hear the ooze from the crowd as they watched the replay? There's a touch of class about that, as you say, with that initial touch and the control of the kick, and then the way he brought it in, full of confidence. And when you've got talent like that, why not?
Well, it's going to be interesting now. Burns is going to fancy it again, an open side. His try initially comes because this man here, when just breaks down. You can see Maffey can't get to Simpson-Daniel until it's too late. Swap Simpson-Daniel for Freddie Burns. There's a little bit of space for him now. Just needs to keep control and play with poise.
Cook down the line. Leicester's fullback is Jordan Murphy.
Use it.
Harrison back in position, but Manu Tuilagi becomes the scrum half to find Flood. And Waldrum goes after Sharples, who's helped out by the man with the golden touch at the moment, Freddie Burns. Back on Leicester's side with Harrison. Ran into trouble, and it will be a Gloucester put into the scrum.
Yeah, Mulipola just standing there thinking to his mate, come on, go left or right. Harrison is frozen, and he's straight into him, and it's accidental. Just saw the space there. Mulipola coming across. He's not going to get there.
To the left.
It wasn't on a string, but it looked like it.
I want to see it. I want to see a scrum. Crouch. Touch.
Yes, for our older viewers, a bit of top cat about that.
Stay 1 meter. Stay 1 meter.
Burns charged down this time.
9 was in front of
And
you. He's
Harrison
offside.
was offside.
9 was in front of 10.
Got away with that one.
He's offside.
Does he know? Does he have time to do anything there? I sometimes think when it's that close, see this real time, you know, it just fires from Flood into Harrison. He doesn't know what to happen there. In the same way we said Mulipola was an accidental offside, wasn't that? I think that's hard on Leicester.
And now Burns has missed his touch. And Flood, does he make a mistake? Yes, he does. Go back to that point. We've seen an awful lot of good. An awful lot. And credit to both teams for that. But this kicking out of hand, it's poor.
Well, it is. It's windy there, but as a kicker, you've got to take that into account. I mean, A, there's charge downs, left, right and centre, and B, there are balls going out on the full, and that was poor from Toby Flood. He had a lot of time there. We've just seen another 2 poor kicks. Freddie Burns has scored and made a try, but he's put in 4 bad kicks as well.
Good work by Savage at the line-out. There's Morgan, just fired off that pass, and there was no sympathy in it. It was destined for a knock-on.
The knock-on first.
It's fast, it's furious, and it's frenetic. This game does at the moment need a little bit of control. Gloucester maybe think perhaps not. We're kings of the kaleidoscopic stuff at the moment. I think it's Toby Flood needs to metaphorically put his foot on the ball and start putting his pack in the right position at the moment.
In your gaps.
Tigers did the double over Gloucester last season.
Touch.
They don't like that in these parts. They love their local derbies, West Country affairs.
Don't block him.
But this fixture
Don't push him.
is right at the top of the list as well. Always been a great battle up front between these two clubs down the years. We're getting another here.
3.
And the Tigers scrummaging really well there to win the penalty.
Well, you can tell the wind because Toby Flood has been striking it beautifully in his last 100 minutes of rugby, but he's gone for touch, and I must say, that's a good touch.
Yeah, made sure there, front line deep.
Second time Leicester have been caught without a sweeper. Keep your eyes on Harrison as the ball goes in. He's getting caught up in the front defensive line. As soon as Freddie Byrne gets a sniff of that, he knows there's no one in behind. Great opportunity and a little chip and a bit of magic.
You could see
Sam
Ben
Harrison.
Youngs. Oh, sorry, Miles, I was going to say, you could just see Ben Youngs, had he been fit, sweeping that one up, can't you?
Sam Harrison, the man who's standing in for him, as he did at the start of the season. Well done by Tom Youngs, Ben's brother. Right under the microscope at the moment. We weren't very aware of that, but just needs to live in the world that is Leicester Tigers here at Kingsholm, and what needs to be done to win this game.
Not on the side, Gloucester.
It's Lewis Deacon, a couple of metres he grabbed there. Now it's Flood to Allen. Goniver's off his wing. Tuilangi's broken a tackle. Goniver gets hit hard by Ongera. All Fijian clash there. Ongera's not going to be in the autumn internationals, not part of the Fijian squad as they try a few youngsters out. Goniver will be, and Goniver felt Ongera's presence on that tackle.
Power of Leicester there, Tuilangi and Goniver together, and it takes a brilliant individual hit.
Oh, it's meant for Sharples, because Burns has seen some space, and here comes Sharples, he collects, he gets away from Allen, no he doesn't. Allen gets his man, tracked him beautifully. And here's Cook, and there is still space here to exploit, and Twelvetrees has seen that, come through the middle, back it goes to Cook, taken down by Maffey. Cowan, out it goes to Calamafoni. That's Morgan, back to Calamafoni, and Waldron won't bring it away because the whistle is gone. Wow. Well, it was great vision, wasn't it, from Burns?
It's brilliant play from Freddie Burns. We criticised him for some of his kicking, but his awareness of space, superb. That was almost as good as the try in that he saw what was needed. Allen, this time he doesn't have a Toulouse 18-year-old leaving him for dead. Charlie Sharples is sharp, but to be fair, Sharples has to check to get that ball, and that enables Allen to make the tackle. Thereafter, Twelvetrees, who's made a strong start to this game, straight through the middle. Billy Twelvetrees is running very hard and fast at the moment.
Thought for a second there that Allen had been fickled, but he wasn't. It was
not quite gale force. There is a wind.
Tremendous run back from Anthony Allen, but also a tremendous run from that man, Billy Twelvetrees, who saw that it was still on.
As we said, we talked about kaleidoscopic stuff. When it breaks up, the vision, the execution, the individual skills, Gloucester have an edge on that, and Leicester really are on the back foot at the moment. They have this pack that can slow it down and control it, and I think they need to at the moment, and that's exactly what they've done. Won a scrum, Flood steps up, knock it down to the line out, march downfield.
Well, Rupert Harden lost his binding there, came right out of the scrum. Wantamula Pola.
Get out. Go.
And Gloucester told to retreat.
So did 3.
But it's been caught on this side.
Well, there's one for Cole.
Nick Wood.
Yeah, one for Dan Cole there.
Dean again.
Yeah. Both guys take
Gloucester's rear guard action really has improved. Watch them on their line. There's the defensive line, but most importantly, as Tuilangi gets on the edge, watching Ongera's work rate across the back. It's him that puts the tackle in on the saving for Goniver.
Could Leicester, with Maffey, Slater and Waldron, have made that tackle? Could they have got there? It's an interesting one. I think Gloucester have got to look at this imbalanced back row now and try and really cause problems.
Don't let him throw that, Andy. Andy, do not let
Leicester
him throw
rush back into position. Jeff
Wait.
Parling just rallied the troops there. It could have been a penalty either side of the scrum, couldn't it? I think Leicester feel they might be able to get on top of Gloucester up front here. Simpson Daniel. It's Gloucester with the lead though, and a pretty healthy one for the home side, who really will feel at home today. Tremendous atmosphere. Burns goes on a run, but he's side down by Parling. Wasn't held though, so Burns again.
Leave it 5-5.
Nice rugby all round. That was quick from Jeff Parling.
And Leicester have slowed it down as Jimmy Cowan got consumed by the ruck. And there is the All Black. 12 trees, another kicking option. And Jordan Murphy's going to have to play this. He's got plenty of time. And he doesn't waste it.
But that's a really good game for Gloucester. Nice and safe. 12 trees gave that a big thump. He's got from his own 22 into Leicester's half. There was nothing wrong with Jordan Murphy's kick. Now here's Burns, not afraid to have a go. I thought he thought, Jeff Parling, I'll take a second row, but the second row did really well. What Burns likes to do is stop and go again, because what he's got is 10 metres of real acceleration. Parling, to his credit, cut him off.
Just not moving freely here, Burns. Hope it's not this tight quad again. He did get a hefty knock there. Edmonds throws. And who came from the Brumbies. Brother of another Australian international, Manny Edmonds.
Is that inside?
And he's been called against Tom Youngs for dragging that down.
It's been a pretty miserable half hour in the line-out for Tom Youngs, hasn't it? 2 not straights, and now he's getting pinged for dragging it down. Burns not even thinking of goal here. We've seen from slightly closer range he didn't have it. The distance.
Still hobbling.
There are some fly halves who like to hobble about a bit, make a bit of a show of it. You know how it is. I know a few. They never lose it. He is hobbling though, you're right. But you know, when you go and see Gloucester train, Freddie Burns is one of those players who goes down. It was undoubtedly he has got a knock, but it doesn't look to him. There don't seem to be alarm bells ringing here. Great play from Jeff Parling, I'll reiterate that. Goes down awkwardly, gets up pretty quickly. They're very determined.
Leicester's top line-out man this season, but he does so much more, does Jeff Parling. So much more.
Fully expected to be named in the England team for the bulk of the autumn games.
Edmonds throws, goes towards the tail, and it was good to find Morgan. Edmonds has got it. The Australian born in New Zealand.
That's stationary now.
Leicester pulled the last one down. Might have to pull this one down.
Use the ball, stationary ball.
Cowan to Burns. 12 trees, it's tight, and it's Tyndall. Burns again, where's that going? Jimmy Cowan helps out on Guerra too.
Guerra's had a good game.
Waldron made a good tackle there as well. And that's knocked off.
Just lost its momentum a bit, that attack. Freddie Burns was waiting for an inside runner. He wasn't coming in the end, and Guerra and Cowan had to resurrect the move, but it gave Leicester a chance to put the pressure on and force the knock-on.
Guerra was man of the match in round 2 in Europe. Caleb Mafoni, man of the match in round 1. They're getting a lot from the South Seas flankers, Gloucester. Of course, Andy Hazel will be out for 14 weeks. Gloucester still considering their response to that judgment on Hazel. May have seen him lose his temper quite a dramatic way against Mont de Marsan in our live Amlin Cup game in round 1. Andy Hazel, lost to believe there were grounds for that loss of temper.
Must say right now, he couldn't be doing a better job than Akapusi and Guerra, who is quick over the ground and is so powerful. Now Gloucester get a scrum free kick.
Free kick, and Jimmy Cowan, as he used to do in All Black colours, pushes the opposition scrum half out of the way, gets that ball again and tries to get Gloucester moving again. We're hearing that Jordan Crane has a stinger to his neck. So that's taken him out of the game.
Ball is up.
This
Ball is
rearrangement for Leicester again in their back row.
Ball is up.
With Ed Slater standing in now. And they will put in to this scrum.
That was messy again. The players actually switched right to left. Cowan went left to right. Ball went to ground. Just not quite happening at the moment. The 8-9 combination. What Cowan was also trying to do, he was trying to go wide to pull Leicester defenders and then pop the ball in a little bit similar to how Burns 2 minutes ago went right to left through an inside ball, and there's no support runners coming on that inside shoulder at the moment. I think the half-back's trying looking for it there, but it's not happening.
Crouch. Touch. Set.
Encouraged here, the home pack. The referee still goes Leicester's way. Gloucester thought they got it going their way on that occasion.
Hold on. Both props here, both props. Both props.
Just listen to the referee here.
You're changing your binds. It's undeniable, you're changing your bind. You cannot change your bind and then end up on the ground. That's what the penalty's for.
Well, it's not the first and not the last time. I was at Welford Road when Exeter were put to the sword, primarily because of the strength of the Leicester scrum. Said it before, when things aren't working, they go to the scrum. So for Gloucester, they've got to keep the pace of this game up. If it becomes scrum and line out, then Toby Flood will kick them into position and he'll kick penalties, and 17-8 dissipates very quickly.
Take the line, Gloucester, take the line.
Oh, another one lost, is it? Yes, it is. By Youngs and Leicester. Morgan to Burns. He's trying to run off this injury. He's not going to be able to do that when someone's clutching onto his ankles.
Stand still, stand still.
12 trees. And Gonagher. Murphy. Nice little feint there from Murphy. And Scott Hamilton had come off his wing to help in midfield. Here's Mulipola. He's just going to go straight.
Well, that's what Gloucester have been looking for. Mulipola, he was waiting.
Here comes Murphy onto that at pace. Gives it to Allen. Tackle again from Angera.
Mulipola's down.
To Cole. Yes, Mulipola took that ball forward and now he's rolling around on the floor. He's got treatment out there. So Leicester down to 14 men on this attack with Jeff Parling. Going to get a penalty. Toby Flood says we'll take it, and he wants the extra 10 metres, realising that might make the difference on the kick.
12 off his feet, 15 over the top.
Cowan knew exactly what Flood was doing and what he had to do in return.
Great contretemps there, wasn't it? Flood playing it to the limit, and Jimmy Cowan just said, mate, you aren't going a single step further. Stared him down. Some trouble, Mulipola. Leicester, well, they're not in a great position, but I wouldn't say necessarily they're in huge trouble. They have the scrum. And here we have Gloucester putting numbers into the breakdown. It's been a rare old battle. Last 20 minutes or so, there hasn't been a lot of quick ball there. Head towards half-time, and just thinking about the set piece, and Leicester, they've won 3 full penalties from the scrum and a host of free kicks, which gives them a huge amount of distance, territory and control. The flip side for Leicester is their line-out is an absolute mess, and Tom Youngs is England's impact sub-hooker, but Richard Cockerell might have to be thinking, the way things are going, that dear old George Shooter is going to have to come on in the second half sooner than later, because what Leicester gain with the scrums, they kick to touch, and then Youngs is losing. 3 is far too many for Leicester.
Well, Shooter certainly brings experience. As we keep trotting out, he's the most experienced Premiership player ever now, 255 appearances. And Leicester, as you can see, have a very strong bench, as always. Marcus Ayerza comes on, the Argentina international. He'll be away again in November. They're going to get something out of him here and next week, because Mulapola has had to go off, and that could be bad news for Samoa. Of course, Mulapola getting ready for those autumn tests in Samoan colours. So let's see how Tom Youngs does here. Much better. Finds Parley. Time enough here for Leicester to get something before half-time. Better line out, gives the platform. As you say, it's been going so well at the scrum, not in the line out. But the Leicester pack, no, they need both. Can't just rely on one. There's Waldron. In goes Harrison. Out to Flood. Oh, Flood's got some space. A little bit a la Burns, couldn't get the chip in.
Advantage.
But he saw what was in front of him. And here's Parling. Advantage being played to. So Leicester throw everything at the line here. Dan Cole has a go just before half-time. Can the Tigers sneak what could be a very important score? Waldron. Harrison. It's only really Murphy
9
to take that, so the referee decides it will be the penalty.
I hear you. I hear you.
And with it being in front of the post.
Could have been a lot worse. Freddie Burns is going wide. Toby Flood sees the opportunity, but Charlie Sharples in the first receiver position makes a lovely tackle. He's got so much pace that Burns could go. He trusts his mate there, and he makes the tackle. Cowan's coming along as well, but that is tremendous from Charlie Sharples. Finishes try well and done well. He doesn't complete the tackle, but with Cowan there as well, that's a potential 7-pointer, downgraded to 3.
Pretty obvious what Leicester were going to do there, given the geography of the penalty award, even though might have been one or two temptations in the stands to go for a little bit more. That would have been greedy. Still a long way to go. Leicester get their 3, and just 6 points the difference, considering the way they've been under the cosh at times, Leicester, and really feeling like they were on foreign soil. They'll take it.
Well, it would have been not just greedy, it would have been stupid, because Leicester haven't played well, but they've got the collective power to ease their way back into this game. What they've got to do is just watch out for the individual brilliance of Freddie Burns and these Gloucester individuals. Leicester are very much in this game, but they've got to tighten up.
And they go through the middle with Mana Tuolangi. Maybe they still have a try in them in this first half. Across comes Morgan, and he takes it out, and that should be that. Yes, it is. Richard Cockrell strides away. Nigel Davis will be feeling the happy of the two, but there's not much in it. Gloucester with 2 first-half tries to Leicester's 1. The half-time score is 7.
Dangerous in the first half. Toby Flood perhaps with a point to prove, but Gloucester are in front. 17-11. Can they push on in the second half? Can they hold on in the second half? We'll find out in a few moments' time. But let's hear from the Cherry and White's club captain, Jim Hamilton, who's ready to talk to Bill Latham.
Jim, Dowie described that first half as punch, counter-punch. Where's the knockout blow going to come from?
A little bit more control, I think. You know, we'll obviously be happy with what we've done. We've seen a few special moments from Freddie. I think we've seen a little bit more control probably in our halves, getting out of our half and putting pressure on what looks like a tired Leicester team, really. They've had a 5-day turnaround. It's been tough for them. We've got to keep playing with the urgency and speed up the game a little bit more, I think.
Target their line out a bit more?
Well, yeah, obviously Youngs has not been thrown particularly well, you know, but that's a strong area for Leicester and one that they can turn around pretty quickly. So I just think we've got to keep doing what we're doing and hopefully just get out of our half and put a bit more pressure on them.
And for Gloucester fans and Scottish fans, when are you back?
I'm hoping next couple of weeks, really. Rib injury, you know, it's normally like a 2 to 4 week thing, so I'm hoping it's more on the 2-week side.
Cheers, Jim.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Martin Stewart back with you in our commentary area. Big Jim Hamilton, rib injury, 2 weeks. You wouldn't argue he'll probably be bouncing back. He's been an inspirational figure here. He's really taken to the captaincy, former Leicester man. He knows the Leicester Tigers don't lose many on the road. I think it's just 1 in the Premiership that they've lost away from home in the last 12 months. That's what Gloucester have got to overcome in this second half.
Well, we saw a very good kick-off from Toby Flood, but Twelvetrees did quite brilliantly to muscle his way out of a problem there.
Just stay there a second, just stay a second.
And Burns was just outside his 22. And here's Jordan Murphy, who crosses halfway. Flood. Cross comes Burns. And one of those first halves, an awful lot of good. As we said, some golden touches of real class, mixed in with some inexperience, shall we say. Flood looking to show who is the England #1 fly half in this second period. Burns heavily involved at the start of this second half, and there's a mistake because that was passed back to him into the 22.
Well, we saw the good from the Gloucester midfield. Billy Twelvetrees at the kick-off, that was excellent, but then Freddie Burns, he's just gone too close to the line, gambling. Look at this from Twelvetrees, though. 2-3 Leicester players around him. He gets his team out of a deep territorial hole, and then Freddie Burns, I'm afraid, puts him right back in it. It's a real mix and match.
Better from Youngs to find Maffey. Then it's Flood, and here comes Tuilagi. Remember, news coming in from Franklin's Gardens that both Hartley and Rawls were injured this afternoon. Don't know about the seriousness of those injuries, but Tom Young's position with that England squad is just getting more and more prominent. Here's Jordan Murphy. And Ben Morgan got a knock there, another England squad man. He's feeling the effects of that. There's Thomas Waldron, another in Stuart Lancaster's plans for the autumn. Ed Slate came on in the first half for the injured Jordan Crane. And Scherzer is there, who came on for Mulipola. There's Parling. Harrison, late call as Ben Youngs failed a fitness test today. Oh, that's good work from Murphy. Got goal side, if you like. And then Gulliver is driven out into touch, but it's great spatial awareness there from Jordan Murphy.
I tell you, the other thing there, a really nice delay on the pass from Toby Flood. That was very good. He almost waited for Murphy just come into it. Watch Flood now. No hurry with the pass. Wait, there it comes. Picks the line beautifully, Jordan Murphy. But I must say, when Bill was interviewing Jim Hamilton, I thought it was very revealing. The speed with which he said Leicester looked tired. It's almost as if Gloucester think, hey, 5 days ago it was the Ospreys. He talked about the 5-day turnaround. Will Gloucester try and play at pace? They think there's a weakness there.
Yes, Gloucester had 2 Thursday nights in the Amlin Cup, so it's been a while, long time in modern terms since their last game.
Well, and the other thing, Miles, I mean, it's this argument, are you better off having hard competitive rugby or a rest? Gloucester have played 2 of the weakest teams in the top 14 in France, who didn't even play full strength. Leicester had to travel to Toulouse, where they took a real pounding up front, and then Ospreys, where they were outstanding, but it was a hell of a battle.
That's not straight from Tom Youngs.
Well,
this will be a worry, not just to Leicester, but to England as well.
Well, I heard what Will was saying at half-time, saying, no, you just got to play your way through it. But there does come a time when such a fundamentally important part of your game, if it's not working, you have to address it. And, you know, that's a terrible throw. That's not about timing. That's not about triggers. That is about a bloke feeling the mental strain.
In many ways, Richard Cockerell,
Head on head.
there won't be a bone in his body that wants to change it for Youngs in view of what's in front of him. Cockerell, of course, a former hooker himself who played for his country, but also from Richard Cockerell, there will not be any sentiment in that Leicester Tiger body. He will just be thinking about what's best for Leicester, and he's got George Shooter on the bench, as you say.
Richard Cockerell has not paid to develop Tom Youngs. Hopefully it's a byproduct and he can do that. He is paid to win games for Leicester. And if you see one more throw like that, you just think this is just too big a weakness in the Leicester structure.
Just a quick point as we wait for this scrum about what you were saying about the relative strengths of the French side that Gloucester played in the Amlin Cup. Talking to Nigel Davis before kick-off, he was saying that in the Amlin Cup, sometimes these French sides can actually play their French players who get denied the starting positions in the top 14. Will lower down the leagues in France and then want to use that as a platform, and it can create a better team. Some of the overseas signings in France maybe not worth their places in view of some. Here's Simpson Daniel for Gloucester.
Leicester 6.
And Tyndall. Good swift movement of the ball across their line and onto the attack in a very strong way. Calamafone. And the referee takes them back for the penalty.
Well, Charlie Sharple's having a really influential game. He's the extra man coming in, and it fixes the Leicester midfield. If you watch this, coming off his right wing, Toby Flood is held there, Allen is held, and that's a gorgeous pass. And Simpson Daniel, he's dancing around, beats two, and then Maffey has to go high, and Freddie Burns has a chance to take it out to a 9-point margin. It's a lovely depth on that pass as well, and Burns, that is a superb pass. Slow motion. I mean, I knew it was good at the time. You see that again, that is exquisite.
There are things that he does that are right at the top of the class. 22 years of age. Burns for the first points of this second half. Oh, yes.
Well, his goal kicking is a different animal to the one last season where he had his moments of breakdown and then he struck a ball well. And while we're talking about Burns and Sharples, how about this bloke, James Simpson Daniel, as well? He's given half a chance, he takes 20 metres. In the end, he won that penalty.
Over 80% this season, Burns, on his goal kicking. Around about 82, that's been improved today.
And he's going from range as well, Mars, isn't he?
Okay.
Yes, the confidence is all there.
5 seconds. Use it, sorry.
Akapusi Angera. In goes Tom Youngs. Leicester think they might have a chance of getting this back, and they do turn it over in as much that they get the scrum in a great position. Central on the 22.
Well, Leicester have been very good in this aspect. Dan Cole has developed into an international class back row forward defensively. He's not the tallest, his technique is superb, he's hard to budge, he gets himself in there so often, he wins penalties. This time he gets the next best thing. That's brilliant from Cole.
And officially ousted Castro Giovanni as the starter now in big games, almost all games for Leicester. Dan Cole. And he's going to get a penalty here. Now, do Leicester go for the 3 points? I think they have to again.
Yeah, lots of time. But again, Miles, you know, this is so fascinating. 4 line-outs lost by Leicester, that's unheralded. 4 scrum penalties conceded by Gloucester here, and we're not even talking about the free kicks as well. Leicester's scrum at the moment is holding them in this game. Leicester's line-out is stopping them taking a decisive lead, and that's all about Cole, isn't it? Cole got the turnover, and then Cole and his mate eke out what I assume is 3 points.
Now the forwards, Dan Cole, one of them, would have loved to have scrummaged the life out of Gloucester there with repeated penalties on the 22. But the right call, the only call, is to go for the 3 points, half an hour out, and Flood therefore has to get the 3 points, and he does, and we have the gap that we had at half-time. 6 points between the teams.
It's a big month for Dan Cole, you know. He's pushing pretty hard with Adam Jones, who I think is a world-class tight head, but with Adam Jones injured at the moment, Warren Gatland watching this big series of Autumn Internationals coming, Cole can put himself, if not in pole position, level with the great Adam Jones, and you could see he's absolutely rigid there. Superb position, technically very good at turnover and scrum.
Taken by Maffey and Hamilton. Good pick up by Cole, but then he was just a static target. But he was strong. But turned over as 12 trees came away with it. Now it's James Edmonds. Booker offloads to find Tyndall. Jimmy Cowan. Akapusi Ongera. Cowan in the fight there. And he's got the penalty. Now he mustn't turn it over. One of the reasons why he was looking forward to coming to Gloucester. This kind of atmosphere, this kind of fight. Jimmy Cowan has never been one to take a backward step in Southland days. There's a bit of Justin Marshall in him, all right. Oh, they've taken a quick one, but the referee
He'd called time off. Freddie Burns was acting quickly, but that was never going to happen. Dan Cole, the man penalised, said how well he's done breakdown, but it was JP Doyle saying, number 3, move your legs. Great pick up initially.
Well, it's good work, wasn't it, by 12 trees. And then Cook trying to cook up something down the blind side, but the referee called him back because he called time off for this. Burns just the one miss today. Made that 2.
He'll be very disappointed with that. He'll be really disappointed with that. That was pretty straightforward for kicker of Freddie Burns' consistency this season.
The return game between these two is just after Christmas. The 29th of December, Welford Road. That bound to be a sellout. We've got it live on Sky Sports. Book it in your diary. If it's anything like this one, which I'm sure it will be. They always seem to produce, these two.
Advantage over, knock on.
Murphy. Oh, and he's gone down as Jordan Murphy, holding that knee. Well, that's a worry, big worry. Burns kicks, no fullback then, someone has to cover. That someone is Sam Harrison, gives it to Hamilton, who is acting fullback at the moment. He comes down, but he was looking for that as he came off Ongera. More important to follow the ball here, because Flood was, and Simpson Daniel was as well, and he's away, he's coming back inside, and he's looking for support either side. James Simpson Daniel has to be, Ongera is celebrating miles out. James Simpson Daniel plotted that one to perfection. It's the kind of rugby that Nigel Davis wanted to see his side play. Always aware, seeing it was on. Akapusi Ongera, what a game he's had today, and now he's got to try to go with it. But what about Simpson Daniel?
Well, he's beaten 4 players with consummate ease, and he just waits to draw Hamilton. And Ongera is celebrated even 4. There's 1, 2, 3. He's waiting for 12 trees. It's not just that he's beating people. It's just he's always aware of whether to go infield, outfield. Said it before, had he been Welsh, he would have been as revered as Shane Williams. He was unlucky to be born in England. He's never really fitted in here. He's had his injuries as well. But we're talking about Monia and Sharples and Ashton, and the most gloriously gifted of them all is that kid James Simpson Daniel. That is genius.
And Burns goes the other side of the post this time. For the conversion, it's 27-14, and Gloucester 1 try away from a bonus point. Last side to score 4 tries against Leicester Saracens back in September 2011.
6-6-6 as far as Leicester will be concerned. It's the mark of the devil. James Simpson Daniel has just scolded them. Ongera takes that ball. He has been brilliant at the moment. Now Leicester really have to up their game.
Will James, and the crowd now as boisterous as they have been at any point during the match, and that is saying something. Jordan Murphy still trying to get over that knock to the knee. And he's not moving freely, and he needs to, because Simpson Daniel is in the mood. I think he's just gone under Mike Tyndall. But Mike Tyndall did well to avoid him. Through the legs. Nutmeg.
Maybe just
penalty Leicester.
Maybe just a little bit overexcited there, but there again, when you've just done what he's done, the world is your oyster. Beautiful off the left foot, and what I like is he leaves Murphy there. He's got the option to go to 12 trees, and the key is just after that moment where we cut away, he thinks, no, I don't go infield. That's beautiful, beating Gonover through Tyndall. Great defensive work from Leicester, but that try, the way he decided not to go in but to go out, class.
Not quite through the legs, but you won't put it past him. There's no doubt that Jordan Murphy was inhibited in that Simpson Daniel run that led to the try, but it wasn't the key moment. Simpson Daniel made sure of that. There were too many other moments en route to the try line. Now, can Leicester respond here? Well, they've got a penalty, and you wouldn't put it past Leicester here, and a comeback. That's what makes the final quarter plus a few minutes so enticing here.
I've got loads of time. They've got the scrum, but they don't want 3 points. They take the line out.
They gave it to 3, who was available for tackles.
Now, Jeff Parling really will want to get this absolutely right. Tom Youngs will be under pressure here. Big pressure.
Good play for England against Australia, South Africa, New Zealand and Fiji. You've got to nail these, and he does. And that is Parling. He'll also be featuring those games, and Leicester look for the drive to once more bring them back into a match. They never have a lost cause.
Red side. Release 9.
Referee advantage here to Flood, who tries to jink and sidestep to that line. Ball's loose, well taken in by Waldron. Tuilangi arrives. That should ensure the ball is still Leicester's. But JP Doyle said that penalty is going Leicester's way anyway.
I've heard you, yeah.
Well, you think that Toby Flood is getting through there, but this is quite brilliant. And Guerra is coming across like a train to make the tackle. There he goes, bang. Flood steps in. There's a hole, and it's closed, and Guerra has been superb.
Change of plan here from Leicester, no longer the 3 points.
You must let the lifters let the guy to the ground, okay? Don't forget the lifters.
They're going for the try.
No,
Youngs, who used to be a centre of attention again. Does well again. He's seeking out Parling.
First time is backwards.
And that's working well now as a combination. See that Glos have brought on Peter Buxton
9.
with his experience, and it's required here. Referee JP Doyle
Time out, 9, side entry, off you go.
goes against Gloucester on the penalty again, and it's Jimmy Cowan for coming in at the side. The offside man takes one for the team. Leicester against 14 men now.
Scrum half off, defensive organiser. Tom Young's now seeming to find his rhythm. Leicester bang in this game. You've got to remember with this yellow card, A, it's very close, and B, Ben Morgan has been pinged for doing just that about 2 minutes earlier. Persistent penalties.
Keeps going to Parling, and that continues. And Scherzer is there. Leicester to drive once more. Is this a scoring drive? Waldron brought down. Cole. This, you sense, absolutely vital to the outcome of the match, this phase of play. Hamilton. Out it goes to Flood, crossfield. Oh, it's high, but not too high for Cook. Now, did he flip it out deliberately? I think that might be the call here from the assistant.
I have the call. Okay, so are you calling in that 15 has hit it over his head, deliberately played over his head? Well, he's got to go yellow card then, okay?
Oh, it's another yellow.
We'll deal with that. But the decision is intentional, and with that he has to go yellow card, okay? Intentionally hitting the ball into touch.
Gloucester have lost another man. It's Rob Cook to the sin bin. And another player is down on the floor injured. And it looks serious too. So that is concerning.
Well, if Cook doesn't do it, I think Gonover's in. Is he aware? Yes, he is, and Gonover is in.
It's on the 15, yeah.
Another time, another day. JP Doyle could even have considered a penalty try there. Was Gonover going to take that ball? I don't think Cook could do anything else there. I think it's a try.
Well, the law says, will a try, not definitely, probably have been scored. We've got a break in play here because of this serious injury. But Jordan Murphy knows that when the game restarts, his Leicester side will have 15 versus 13. Cowan off and now Cook off.
It's a good kick from Toby Flood, who you can see there, but the problem is, look at Rob Cook here. Cook is far too narrow. We made the point earlier that Gloucester just got caught. They got caught by Hamilton for the first try, out past. This time Cook has got narrow, and Gonover, I think, scores that try if not for this. This nice weight on this kick. Is he going to catch this ball? It's a temptation. If you're a trigger referee, you could. I don't think Gloucester could have complained had he gone penalty try there, but
The television match official might have got involved in that one. The man who's been down injured is Sonny Kalamafoni, and it is great to see him back on his feet, but clearly in still need of help. So round of applause for Kalamafoni as his evening comes to an end, and that means Matt Cox will come on. There he comes. So lots of changes here for Gloucester, lots of losses.
You guys speaking for Jordan, yeah?
well, this is astonishing 5 minutes or so. We've lost Savage, we've lost Kalamafoni to injuries, we've lost Cowan, we've lost Cook to yellow cards, and Leicester 13 points behind, must be odds on to score, and very quickly. Gloucester are at full stretch, they are possibly beyond it. Leicester have all the aces at this moment.
And the Leicester backs, well, they'll be screaming for this.
We haven't restarted the game, we're time off.
There's a big blind side as well, because Gonover's moved into midfield, as you can see, so Harrison might do a swivel and go for the corner, but he'll need to score it, because if he doesn't, the others to his right
you guys are ready, watch will be on.
will be pretty annoyed, given the advantage they have.
And they've got a scrum that is so dominant, they can pretty much go wherever they want. On the balance of what we've seen today, Leicester can look for a Peshover try, they can look for a penalty try, they can look for a quick drive.
Yeah, here you come. Here come.
Thomas Waldron is now packing down. We're in 7, packing down 8, and we know what a powerful, explosive carrier he is.
Yes, they can give the scrum a turn either angle and create space, left or right here at Leicester.
Well, Aguera has been absolutely brilliant on the open side, but of course Kalamafoni is off now as well. We've got Buxton on, who came off for Savage. He can play back row, but they're really stretched.
Corey Britton in the front row for Huey Edmonds, and he's feeling the force of this Leicester pack, but they lost control. Doesn't matter. JP Doyle says penalty try, and listen to the reaction of the home crowd there. Flood doesn't care less about that. He takes the instant conversion to maximise the sim bin time. We have got a game on here.
Any which way they wanted to, that Leicester scrum. Basically, that was an inevitability. They have had Gloucester's scrum on toast all day, and Aertza and company will just say, sorry, that was utterly inevitable. Utterly inevitable.
And it's led to a change in the Gloucester front row. Been forced into some changes recently, but this one out of choice. Nick Wood's going off, Dan Murphy's coming on. Just to reiterate, 13 men for Gloucester still. Flood. Over the head of Morgan. Temptation will be to every opportunity that is available, try and run down the clock. Gloucester, they mustn't stop playing, because if they do, might turn into statues. Lack of one man is better enough. Lack of two men, oh, that is a perilous situation in this sport of ours.
Well, Leicester are 6 points down, but quite frankly, they are clear favourites to win this game now. They have the collective power of the scrum. They have a two-man advantage, and Nigel Davis's troops also have a welter of injuries at the moment. They've got James Simpson-Daniel at the moment, chatting away, taking a very senior role on. They've got Ben Morgan at scrum half.
And a whole new front row. Britton Murphy and Sean Knight.
Stay out of the gap.
The first lot struggled to survive against Leicester.
Both jumpers.
And they were supposedly the elite scrummaging pack.
Sorting out the gap of the line out, that's all right for Gloucester. Quite happy with that, that takes time. Little flick of the wrist there from Britton, but in comes Maffey for Leicester. Just want to get into the backs, set it up first, but the big advantage should be out wide. Harrison realising that. Again, it's slowed down by Gloucester.
Use it.
Maffey to Flood. Here comes Tuilang. It goes on the outside of 12 Trees, his old teammate. This is Jordan Murphy. That knock to the knee, a thing of the past, and it's a penalty to Gloucester. Mike Tyndall, he's going to love this in adversity. Tyndall will thrive on this.
Hell of a battle. I wonder whether Jordan Murphy perhaps could have taken that pass and given it. The tackle from Sharples is absolutely outstanding, because Gloucester are outflanked. Not this occasion because they got too narrow, but because they've got two men too few at the moment. Brilliant defence, and that's a big turnover.
Burns into the shed. They'll try and hold on to it. Here's D. Ryan.
Bench. It's a Aertza, it's power up against Knight. You just see it's dead straight, there's no answer to it, and he just pops Knight straight out the side. So much power coming through. It really is going to be a long 10 minutes.
When you think Aertza couldn't get in Argentina's team because of old man Rodrigo Roncero,
time out,
what a player that makes Roncero, hey?
Listen to me. You have to show your men early. It doesn't matter if you tell them. Adjust your numbers when they come in.
We've just passed the midway point on the first sin bin. Second sin bin won't be too far behind.
Trouble is now, it's only 5 seconds, and Gloucester can't really drive this because they haven't been able to drive Leicester in any facet of the type.
There's a rawness, there's an energy in the ground, and it's terrific. And again, Gloucester quite happy to lose the clock here. Let it drift away. Referee wants them to use it. Of course, the 5-second rule now. No Jimmy Cowan on the field to throw it out from the base. Mike Tyndall. Not sure what he is. Is he a forward? Is he a scrum half?
Simpson-Daniel's the scrum half, and Tyndall is happy He's a flanker at the moment, Marvs.
What he is a leader, and that's exactly what Gloucester need in this situation. Yes, 3 minutes left on the Jimmy Cowan sin-bin, just to be absolutely accurate on that. Simpson-Daniel, you're right, in there again. Out to Burns, goes for the long drop goal. Hamilton. Oh, it just won't sit down for him. These seconds are precious, and he lost the valuable time to try and run that ball away. And it was good chasing from Gloucester, and they force Hamilton to put it out.
Oh, it's a horrible drop goal from Freddie Burns, but inadvertently, Gloucester are probably quite pleased with the result. It was 15 seconds of wibbly-wobbly rugby from Scotty Hamilton, and then he kicked the ball out not very far. You can look, there's 14 minutes to go, my friends. You can't keep your eyes shut for that long. Come on now, have some faith.
Okay, stay there and let him go back.
Peeking through the mittens. Well, the hands seem to have deserted Corey Britton here. Maffey has gone in twice now on Britton's throw and stolen that ball for Leicester, but they're still inside their own half. Little push back from Deacon on Britton, but Tuilangi. Oh, he's lost the ball. The crowd almost starting to enjoy this now, the way that Gloucester are more than holding on during this sin-bin spell. That's Peter Buxton. Well, it was Buxton until the rest arrived. Oh, dropped by James. Is that important?
Well,
turnover ball. Slater goes in and gets it.
Scrum advantage.
Leicester want more than the scrum. They want this ball quickly again. Maffey, it's high for Waldron. That slows him down. Good hands from Tuilangi to Flood. Now it's Murphy. Gulliver's outside. Who's covering? Simpson-Daniel's trying to get there. Gulliver touched it.
Knock back.
And the flag is eventually up. And they're nearly through the first sin-bin. And they're taking a quick one. But they're not allowed to. And maybe the officials have made the right call there for Gloucester.
It's touch as you want to touch.
Well, I don't know. I think Gloucester knew what they were doing there. They're losing their line-out battle. Maffey's taken control, and that was really clever thinking there. But basically, the gloves are off now, and we're standing in the ring, and it's a 12-minute scrap. Steve Maffey now has he has completed the complete control of the Leicester scrum. They're down men. It's not just about playing rugby now. It's about willpower for Gloucester. The sheer will to win this one.
But had that ball gone out, Leicester would have been throwing into the line out.
Time on, please.
Now at least Gloucester are doing the throwing.
Yeah, but they've lost the last two. The next line out would have been 35 metres upfield. Britain is under terrible pressure.
Early lift.
And it's a free kick. And it's the scrum. Cowan is nearly back. He thinks it's over.
Well, that's why Gloucester wanted to go quick at the line out. It's completely capitulated. Cowan's back. They need his spine.
Little smile there from Scott Hamilton to his fellow Kiwi, Jimmy Cowan, who takes Gloucester back up to 14. And every little helps.
Both Southland boys, aren't they? From their birth.
He can do that.
It's a hot day for them. Alex has been moaning about the cold, but it's positively tropical for those boys.
I know what we're buying Alex for Christmas. Some thermals. Leicester now. This is their big chance. They know it.
It's massive pressure. Nigel Davis knows it. Elegant centre in his playing days. But Leicester are trying to win this one in the tight. Cook to come back. It's 15 all, but up front, Miles, there's only one team in this game at the moment.
Yes, the reintroduction of Cook doesn't necessarily mean that Leicester's big chance has gone, because it's a scrum. It's where they've dominated. Gloucester have tried to change things. New front row.
It's not a full-back they need, it's a 20-stone extra prop to have an extra man.
Here it comes again from the Leicester Tigers, and it will be reset.
These are... Oh, Gloucester. They are walking the tightrope, because I think if a penalty is given here, the way Leicester play...
You have to move the ball. If it's stationary.
The way Leicester goes, this ball will go into the corner. They've got the line out by the scruff. They've got Gloucester toasted in the scrum, and they've got 10 minutes. It is fabulously thrilling.
Get to the outside. Let's go.
And they've got the time. Crucially, they've got the time.
10 minutes will feel an eternity for Gloucester at the moment.
Both sides go for an early drive on the scrum. Referee JP Dawes says use. Watch his arm, stays Leicester's way.
There's no offence. There's no offence.
Nothing to give, so they'll go again.
Yep.
Semi-final here between these two 4 years ago. Leicester won by a point, 26-25. Converted try here, and they're in front by a point again. Lewis Deacon just be delighted to be back in the battle, yes, but now he's in it. He wants to leave Kingsholm with the W.
The way this game is shaping, you sense that if they score a try, Leicester, it's not going to be out wide, it's going to be via the pack. Oh,
look at that from Gloucester against the head. Cowan goes in, back on the field, the scrum half. Listen to the response of the crowd. Flag is up. Good kick from Cowan as well.
Astonishing.
And they are thumping at their seats.
Utterly astonishing. Nigel Davis looks on, cold-eyed, no emotion. But that scrum is probably more thrilling for him than the Akapusi and Guerra try. And if they are to win this game, if they are to have held on with 13 men under massive pressure, that might just be the moment.
5 different forwards in there. Pulled back in by Ungera. Davis loves it, as you say. Line out goes Leicester's way. Here's Flood and Tuilangi. Tuilangi! Good run from him. 12 trees. Pulling away at the jersey to try and stop his old teammate. Tom Youngs. Harrison. Flood gave him the call. Where's it going? Oh, it's gone wide. To Gonover, who somehow stays on his feet. Gloucester were thinking about an interception there.
Advantage.
Harrison uses the boot, and he's got a penalty.
Get him out of there.
So whistle long gone. Britain will be called back. Decision time again.
It's a massive call because Leicester feel they've got complete control, yet a Toby Flood penalty puts them within three points and still 7 minutes, and champion teams would feel that 7 minutes is plenty of time. Exeter with Mires at the epicentre weren't quite sure what to do. Should they have gone for it? It's a similar big situation, a big call for Leicester here.
Well, we know what Will would do here. Will Greenwood was saying that Mieres should have gone for the 3. But maybe Will's view on this one might be a little bit different because of the power of the Leicester pack. He's looking over there. Yes, he's nodding.
Yeah, it feels like momentum's there. But was there a forward pass from Toby Flood to Gonover? The answer is undoubtedly yes. It's come off the right hand. Forget the flight of the ball. That wrist pushes forward. Leicester got away with that.
Young's throws. Goes to Parley.
He's legal. He's always there.
Good control. They need to get it going again. After last week, Leicester should be flying up front. And here's Harrison, but Gloucester are doing everything in their power to disrupt this Leicester ball now. The game is coming down to this.
Fantastic. Gloucester, every man is throwing themselves into the fray.
A fantastic game and a fantastic finale. Cole. Through comes Morgan. Harrison, there's a boot on that. And it's been given as the knock-on.
Desperation, pure desperation from Gloucester. They want this so much.
A Gloucester foot comes through here.
There does indeed.
Yes.
But you know what? When you think of the forward pass that put Leicester in that position, again, it's one of those instances where you shouldn't say two wrongs make a right, but there is a sort of poetic justice to it. But the reality is, it's two wrong officiated decisions. But as a neutral, you just feel, well, that's about right. As a referee's assessor, you pull your hair out.
Okay, show me. Here, okay? There.
Probably heard on JP Dawes' microphone there that Leicester were calling for that. They haven't got it, but they still have a chance here to affect the outcome.
Time's on.
How long have they been in Gloucester's 22, Miles? It feels like 6 September.
Now is it Leicester's turn to drive Gloucester off the ball. Matthew's trying to get in, but it's going to be a penalty.
Number one, releases by, hang on the floor, stood up.
Well, number one is now number 17, Marcus Ajurza.
I tell you, talking of 17s, Dan Murphy has come on and he's had a real impact there. Dan Cole and Murphy, verbals all the way. Gloucester have taken a 20-minute pounding and they are up off their knees. They were down on one and they're off the turf again. And Cowans, I tell you now, is really inspirational here. Look at this. Mully Pola put to it. Sean Knight.
Yeah, Ajurza penalised there. Mully Pola off the field, injured. Gloucester. Now they have hold of the ball. And another penalty. It's Tom Youngs.
They've taken the momentum completely away. I think Cowan's managership, marshalling of this pack has been instrumental since he's come back on. Has he done anything spectacular? No. Has he brought fighting experience? Yes.
Don't know who on earth your man of the match will be. Here's D. Ryan.
It's this Jimmy Cowan's moment to endear himself to the shed. Just watch his experience. They've just got a turnover scrum themselves. The ball comes in. It doesn't get struck. Now watch this. This is 50 caps for the All Blacks. Wrong side of the ref. Thanks very much. That's back in our scrum and out.
Well, the wobble's there from Britain again, but it works somehow. But it's now been called not straight by the assistant. Didn't look straight, did it? It looked pretty ropey. Cowan's kicking the ball away. He needs to be careful about that. But it is a set scrum. No chance of anything else. Need to hold their discipline here, Gloucester.
There we go, ball's on, time's
You're
on.
thinking about your man of the match.
Gloucester, let's go, please.
Oh, I'm not giving it to you yet.
I'll keep him off your arm.
Come on, 27-21, Leicester could win this. If Leicester win it, then I'll be looking at a certain bloke who looks like he belongs on the field of Agincourt, who's a front row forward. If Gloucester win it, I've got a couple of contenders. Gloucester, they have made the 50-metre advance upfield, but poor old Corey Britton has been decimated at the line-out. And Leicester, with Tuolangi, Goniver, Flood, they can win this game from 60 metres.
Oh, you love the power, don't you? And the power here has returned for Gloucester in the scrum.
Right.
And there's Tuolangi handing off. Here comes Hamilton. Hamilton trying to stretch those long legs, because this game is still up for grabs. There for Leicester. Waldron to Flood. Flood to Tom Youngs, who shows his strength there.
Now on the side.
That was magnificent from Manu Tuolangi.
90 seconds left. It's Flood, it's Murphy. Tuolangi steps away, and as he does so, he goes forward. The man who never goes backwards. Harrison to Waldron. Good tackle from James. Harrison again to Flood. Flood trying to get Hamilton away.
Advantage, tackle off the ball.
It's going to be a penalty for a man taken off the ball. In goes Goniver, flying off his feet. Therefore, the referee has to consider the original penalty offence, which he does.
Now, Toby Flood has got to be nerveless here. This ball has to go into the corner. There's 48 seconds left, and Flood has got to be fairly bold here. Gloucester, they have survived twice.
Now this is where, had Flood gone for the previous 3 points and got it, Leicester could have been going for a draw here, but they're not. They're not thinking about that at all. They're in this frame of mind now. It has been such a wrestle, such a fight, that only win will suffice.
I don't think the decisions in the last 15-20 about going to the corner or goal, you could judge before. If they'd come off, it's a right call. It is a wrong call, but you can't be critical, because it was such a borderline decision which way to go. Leicester have had this game in the palm of their hands up front for most of the game. Yet Cowan provoked some resistance that seemed to come from nowhere. And you thought with that penalty from the scrum that Gloucester had done enough. And then the big moment, he's looked dangerous all day. Tuolangi's fend gave Leicester the 40 metres they need. They have one last chance.
And Youngs to throw it, and again, it is to Jeff Parling.
First time is backwards.
Harrison says, go on forwards, deliver now for me. And the scrum half now goes in to give it to Flood. Flood, oh, Hamilton's missed it. Penalty. But the referee's going to give a penalty. It's not over for Gloucester yet.
Well, it's yet another side entry. We have had an epidemic of side entries from Gloucester. No time for touch, though.
You want the scrum, you can have the scrum.
They can take the scrum, and that's what they do.
But they can't go. Surely they can't push over for 15. And bear in mind, from nowhere, Sean Knight, who I think has played an amazing cameo role, has come on, and Gloucester's scrum from nowhere has started to resist this overwhelming Leicester power. It's the most interesting scrum in the Premiership to date this season. I know that sounds hyperbolic, but it is.
I think it doesn't. Could save it more. Raucous is not enough. Simply not enough. The noise in this place is amazing as the game has been. And this has all crumpled up on Leicester. Has their chance to win the game gone? No, because Harrison is back there again at the base of those forwards to give it to Cole.
Oh, and Gareth, so fast on Cole to slow it down.
Gloucester go in looking for that ball to win the match. JP Doyle stands still and watches. Flood to Tuolangi. Leicester pile in again. Cole can hardly get off the floor, nor can Deacon. They're so tired, they've given so much. That was Parling. This is Harrison. On to Slater. Oh, and Guerra once more, and Guerra again and again.
Epic.
Harrison to Flood, and there are Leicester men waiting out wide here. Hamilton, who got Leicester's first try. Goniver, driven back. 12 trees right in there. The Shepton men that they drive over. In goes Tyndall. What a finish. happy door blows, and it's Gloucester's. It's their biggest win of the season to date, and it's a win that might well set up the whole of the rest of the season for them. The Tigers are always a catch, but especially when the game has been played in that way. What a match!
Well, that was thrilling. Leicester put everything into that. For Gloucester, Burns and Simpson-Daniel created magnificent stuff for Sharples. For Leicester, Dan Cole and Parling cemented their position as England's starters for the autumn. But for me, the man who represented the Gloucester win more than anything was Akapusi and Guerra. Forget the try he scored. Just look at the tackles he made. Look at the yards he carried. It wasn't just the tackles. He drove Leicester players backwards. He was everywhere. Hazel is out for 14 weeks, but he couldn't have matched that performance. Akapusi and Guerra, something of a legend here in Gloucester. That was a legendary performance. The purists might say it wasn't perfect, but for those who love their Premiership rugby with passion, it was unforgettable. A wonderful game of rugby.
And just listen to the response of the crowds. From both sides, one of those days where both teams deserve to take a bow. And it's a long old season. They may well have to do it all again in a key game at the end of the season. They will certainly have to do it all again just after Christmas at Welford Road. And that, as I said earlier, is one to book in the diary. A magnificent game of Aviva Premiership rugby. And we're going to hear now from one of the players that gave us so much enjoyment, James Simpson-Daniel.
James, you've been involved in some special nights. You've been involved in some special nights at Kingsholm. How special was tonight?
Yeah, it was very special. There's no such thing as easy matches anymore, and this season's has shown that for us. You know, Leicester are a fantastic side. You can see what it means to everyone here on our side, and you know the supporters. You can still hear them shouting. So no, we've got to enjoy that. You know, it's a huge win for us, the club. You know, they're a very, very good side. They are, and no, we'll enjoy celebrating. But then Harlequins next week, another not so easy one.
15,000 people. How key were they in that last 10 minutes?
Yeah, massive, especially during 13 men. You know, we were backs against the wall there, and that's when anything that you can get helps. Anything extra helps, and yeah, they made a huge amount of noise. When your lungs are blowing, it gets you up and it keeps you going. Everyone was talking on the field, so no, you know, huge thanks to them as always. 2 players binned. Calamafoni goes off. You were screaming at the players. What were you saying? Just saying to keep the urgency, really. You know, they were going to throw everything at us. We had to work out what we were going to do in the back line, trying to scramble at the back, because I was playing scrum half, which I haven't done since I was a lad, and I didn't really know any calls, what was going on in line-outs, which isn't anything different to normal. But no, everyone was just trying to get the urgency up and ask for a huge effort.
And your forwards in the last 5, gloves off, just sheer willpower.
Yeah, exactly. You know, they came hard, they picked and go, and the forwards are trying to throw everything at them, heads, shoulders, whatever. You know, they've got some big carries in the back line. You know, Manu Tulang, who's carrying big all afternoon, and fair play to Freddie, getting his body in front of that, because that's what it takes here. And if you don't do that, he's going through and they're going to score like he's proven he can do.
Fantastic stuff, James. Well done.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Cheers.
Well, he is